Hi everyone, I'm Dan. Before I get into today's video, I just wanted to say a massive thank you for all the support and engagement that we got on the first video. It's the very beginning of this channel. Seeing people get behind it already just means so much to me. Just a quick reminder, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please go and do that. On that channel, on the YouTube channel, every new subscriber will contribute to the charity pot. Every 100 plus is a £10 into that pot. So yeah, even just a simple action like that can help make a huge difference. So this is only my second video, and I just wanted to make it something that helps you get to know me a little bit better, who I am, what I'm about, why I'm starting this whole project. So I put together a short little Q&A, and these are just questions I've chosen myself, things that explain a bit more about the person behind the camera before we start all the streams. So yeah, I'm just going to go through them. I've got the questions up on screen, so I'm going to be scrolling through those, and then I'll just kind of say what the question is and answer them. I'm going to try and do this whole video in one take, so there's going to be no cuts or anything, just to make it a little bit more authentic. I do have notes on how I'm planning to answer the question, but I don't have like word for word. So if you do see me kind of like, you see my eyes flicking and reading, I'm just kind of scanning on notes, because what I didn't want to do is generate the questions the way I've generated them, so they are kind of fresh, but I didn't want to be sat there kind of going like, so I wanted to have something that I could talk about, but yeah, but I didn't want to kind of have a completely pre-planned answer, because I wanted it to be as authentic as possible. So let's get into it. So the first question is, so, you know, who actually is Dan? So as I've said, my name is Dan. I'm Dan. I'm 30 years old. I'm married. I'm in a full-time job. I don't have any kids. I do have a scruffy little Cocker Spaniel dog. Yeah, honestly, I don't think I'm anything special. I'm just a normal guy. I like a good laugh. I try and stay positive even when we go through some tough times. I can be a little bit of a perfectionist. But yeah, what you'll see on stream is exactly who I am in real life. Okay, I'm not going to put a character on. I'm not going to have a persona. I know a lot of people do that online, and you know, who they are online is completely different. But no, who you see on stream is going to be me. So yeah. So second question then is going to be what got me into gaming in the first place. So kind of started gaming when I was a kid. I remember picking up, I think it was Mario Brothers on the Nintendo 64, I want to say. And yeah, I'd say from the moment I picked up the controller, I was hooked to gaming. Really enjoyed it. Progressed into like the PlayStation 1, playing all the different FIFAs growing up. And yeah, I remember skipping school just so I could stay at home and game. Used to pull all-nighters, and yeah, didn't even realize I was pulling all-nighter. It would just be morning. Yeah, I think a lot of people that don't game don't really understand that gaming actually kind of becomes a bit of a meditation for gamers. For me, it's an escape from the real world, so it's a way to switch off and, you know, just de-stress and kind of get myself to reset after I've had particularly after I've had a rough day at work. Yeah, I've had a few times in my life where I've stopped gaming, but I always end up back to gaming. I think gaming is a huge part of who I am, and you know, of just who I am. So the third question then is why start a streaming channel now? And yeah, it's something I've wanted to do for years. I've tried streaming a long time ago, like early 20s. But it's always felt like there was something missing, just a bit of motivation I couldn't quite find. But I think this time there's plenty of purpose behind it. It's not just about trying to grow my own channel. It's about doing something that could make a difference to someone's life. And yeah, I think there's one thing kind of growing a channel for yourself, but to to try and do it in a way that helps other people, it just means more. And yeah, I think that's why we're doing it now, because it's a motivation that is gonna keep me striving, keep me successful, hopefully. So question 4 then is, why is charity such a big part of this for me? I've been through some rough times, both for myself and with family, and yeah, charities are a big part of getting us through those tough times. I've seen firsthand how much what the charities do help people, and it's not always about saving a life. You know, it's about making those unbelievably difficult moments just a little bit more comfortable. So yes, just I think when you see it, you just instantly have that kind of pull to want to be part of it. So yeah, if this channel gives me a way to contribute, even if it's just the tiniest little bit, if I can make someone's life a little bit better, then yeah, I've done what I set out to achieve. Question 5 is, am I nervous about starting this? The answer to that is definitely yes. Anytime I put myself out there, it's nerve-wracking. I think that's for anyone. It stands for anyone. But particularly for me, I think I'm a naturally shy person. I do worry about what people think about me. I've always had this like fear that by doing something like this, someone I know or used to know will laugh at me for trying something, or for trying this, particularly this. I think this is a kind of a pathway that people don't tend to join at 30. But yeah, I think this is about doing something good, so I think it's worth the risk. And yeah, we'll see what happens, because I think this could also help me come out with a bit more confidence. So if that happens, then that's a bonus. Question 6 is, what kind of community do you want to build? The big one for me is a welcoming one. I want the streams to feel interactive, like proper conversations happening in the chat. I don't want this to just be people watching me game, because I want it to be a community of people that just share the same goal of making a difference. And yeah, so like I said, it's not about the gaming, it's about the community. So a welcoming one is definitely top of the priority list when it comes to building a community. Question 7 then is, do I have a favorite game? This one is probably the most difficult for me to answer. I think for years I would have said like Call of Duty. That's the game I grew up with. And once I found that game, that was the one that I was really hooked. It's still the one I follow esports. So I enjoy watching the pros play it. But I haven't played the latest one. I didn't play much of the last one. So right now I'm going to have to say my favorite game is Battlefield. That's definitely the game I look forward to the most. But yeah, that said, I'm an all-round gamer. I do like to give any game a go, and you'll see a mixture of games on the channel. But yeah, I'd say Battlefield is probably my favorite at the moment. I know RedSec, which is the Battle Royale mode, for those of you that don't know, has had a little bit of stick, bit of bad press, but I really enjoy it. So we'll see. Question 8 is, what keeps me motivated to do this? There's a few things here. The first one is the actual charities. Knowing that each stream that I do can make a difference to someone, that's got to be a huge motivator. And it is a huge motivator. That's the main reason of doing this channel. big motivator for anything I do in life. But, you know, particularly around why the charities are a big part of this channel is my mum. She's currently battling cancer, has been for a few years. So, you know, seeing the work that charities do to help support the research that goes into the treatment she has, that hits home. I think if we're talking motivation, it would be wrong to not talk about my wife. You know, she gives up huge amounts of time that she could be spending with me so that I can game in the first place, but more so, definitely more so now that I'm going to be doing this, she's giving up that time for me to do this channel, do this project. And yeah, she supported every idea I've thrown at her. Like I said, this channel's been a few months in the making, and she's been my soundboard. She's answered, I've bounced ideas off of her, and she'll give me feedback. And yeah, I honestly couldn't do this without her support network. So yeah, she's amazing. I think it would be wrong for me not to shout her out when I'm talking motivation. And then a big one for me is my granddad. He lost his battle with cancer a few years ago. Yeah, he was just a huge part of my life. And he used to help everyone. There was always a story about him he brought home a little old lady for Christmas because she was going to be by herself. When he was in hospital, he would give people money because they didn't have enough money to get home in a taxi, or they were homeless, so he gave them money to get a hot meal or something. He was always giving. Yeah, if I can be half of the person he was, then yeah, I would be a great man. So yeah, he's just, honestly, he was the best man I've ever met, the best man I'll ever meet. And yeah, if this project can make him proud, then that alone will make all of this worth it. Who is the first charity is the next question. That I'm not going to announce on this video. I want to leave that till a little bit closer to Christmas. But what I will say on the subject is it's a charity that is close to my heart. And it's one that makes the most sense for me personally to start with. There is a story behind my connection to this charity. So yeah, looking forward to sharing that story. And if those of you that know me, you'll probably realize who it is anyway, by just by the hints I've given there. Question 10 then. What's one thing that people should know about me? The only thing I can think of is that I genuinely care about what I'm building here. It's not a gimmick. It's, you know, it's not a trend. It's not something I've seen and thought, oh, I can get involved in that. It's something I've put some real thought into, and something I really want to grow into something real and long lasting. As I mentioned, this has been a couple of months in the making, this channel. And originally I was thinking 2026. And then if I carry on streaming, I'll just be a streamer. But I think the charity aspect of this is something that has to stick around. So I genuinely care. And I think where my head's going, the more and more I think about it, the more and more I put thought into this whole process and this whole project, is that if by the end of 2026 we've got a fairly consistent viewership on the streams, we're pretty interactive, doesn't need massive numbers, doesn't need massive monies going to the charity, but as long as we're consistent and have a fairly regular stream and we can fairly regularly make a decent donation to the charities, then then I'll continue this into 2027 and beyond. I think this is something that we could really, really make a huge difference to someone, to so many charities. So yeah, I'm just grateful for anyone who decides to be part of the journey, and I hope you stick around for it. So yeah, on that note, that's all the questions. There's 10 questions. So I'm going to thank you for watching. Yeah, just taking the time to get to know me a bit better. This is still the very beginning of the channel, and your support genuinely means so much to me. I'll remind you again, if you haven't gone and subscribed to my YouTube channel, you could be watching this on YouTube. If you are, then hit subscribe. But if you're watching this on anything else, then head over to YouTube, hit subscribe, because that subscription to the YouTube channel adds money to the charity pot, or at least gets us closer to adding money to the charity pot. So it makes a huge difference just by hitting that free button to click. Yeah, there's plenty more to come, including the announcement of the first charity, as I mentioned. Going to talk a little bit more about the process, going to do some more announcements videos before we get going. There will be some test streams that show up. I've run a couple of unlisted test streams in the background. I think we're all good to go from a actual setup perspective. So now I just need to kind of run a couple of test streams that are actually live. People can click on and view, and we'll make sure that everybody else is seeing what I'm seeing. And yeah, maybe get the ball rolling. As I said before, 15th of January is the first date of the first, well, the date of the first stream. But yeah, if the test streams work and everything's ready to go, then we could maybe bring that forward. So we'll see, but let's keep the hype going for this. Please hit share on these videos, because sharing the video really helps expand who's seeing this. Like it and comment on it as well, please, because any kind of interaction just helps get it out there. So yeah, I really appreciate everything everyone's doing. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Hadn't planned to keep rambling on. We're at about 20 minutes, which I think is an okay video. So yeah, whether you're here for the gaming, the mission, or the community we're building, thank you so much for being a part of it, and I will see you again soon.